we pump those profits back into the profit cycle to generate even more profits. And I know what you're going to say. Profits? Yes, Stan. You're soaking in them.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's your boy ExtrmWill, Extreme Tech. This is my tech channel. We're going to cover Salad AI, what my 30 rigs are making, what they've kind of been doing, how it's looking right now. Yeah, I think it's been doing pretty decent. It looks like it's in... Well, when I first started checking a couple minutes ago, it was at a little bit of a lull. We were at 30 cents every 15-minute block, and it looks like it's already starting to pick up. I saw... While I was looking, I saw a couple of machines that said they were actively downloading jobs. So I imagine this should be going up right now. If we look, the last 24 hours says on the 30 machines, I made $42.35. So that's pretty good. I did not realize I'd actually been doing that good. If we look at the last 7 days, so yesterday was $44.78. The day before that was $44.43. I didn't realize either of those days were actually that good. I did notice though that it said the 4090s were the top demand card. First time I've seen that in quite a while for those last 2 days. So I'm imagining all three of the 4090s, all three of my 4090s were definitely running both of those days, which is part of the reason it looks so good. Day before that was $35.66. Day before that was $33.82. Day before that was $31.49. And day before that was $31.48. Last 30 days, still not very consistent. Here you can see I definitely had a pretty good run here where it was up. I was making a lot more up in the 40s, and then it dropped low 30s, mid 30s, mid 30s, low 30s. That's like 30, 92, and then coming back up. So that one says 45, and that one says 41.89. So not too bad. Still not like super consistent, but definitely not too bad. It looked like it was running really good most of the day today. I had the last 24 hours, it looks like 54 cents for a 15-minute block was the highest. And then the lowest was literally as I decided I was going to film this video. It got down to about 30 cents. I was like, well, you know, timing is what it is. But it looks like it's already starting to pick up. So we'll see. I may have actually quite a bit more running. We may be making, or I may be making more than that 37-cent average once we start getting into it. I like looking at this screen a lot. You can tell a lot. They have 30 machines, so like obviously yours will show differently, but to figure out the total earnings, it kind of gives me an idea of how much I'm actually making. Because a 15-minute block, you figure out what your average is for the 15-minute block, and you can multiply that by 4 to give you an hour, and then by 96 will give you the whole, well, by 4, and then 24, which is 96, to give you what you should be making for like the day. So just kind of averaging stuff out, because salad can be really irregular, so I figured average is weird. I feel like normally I explain that so much better. I guess I'm still like half asleep. Oh, yeah, I fell asleep really early last night and got up really early, and I'm still a little foggy. I feel like normally I explain that so much better, but yeah, it's doing pretty decent right now. My electric on this, I'm doing about 10 cents a day. If it's at the $42, I'm probably at like 11, maybe $12 for electric. I haven't noticed, I guess I don't feel like I've done a whole month where it's been above 40 for the whole time. So this might still only be $11 for electric. I don't know if it actually gets up to $12 here in Tampa at 15 cents per kilowatt hour. So for yesterday, I should have netted $30 to $32 out of that 42. So, people wanted me to discuss electric more. I don't have it fully set up to read everything. I have like half of my machines in the garage are set up to read. When I bought the new PDU with the better reader on it, it didn't work. So you can't always figure that out. But Sal definitely looks like it has been crushing it. So That's pretty good. If we go to this next one here, the on-demand 4090 is back in the top spot again, so that'll be 3 days in a row. When I started looking, the 3090 was above it, like 10 minutes ago. So they do update this very regularly. I don't know exactly how often it regulates, but it definitely updates pretty quickly. Like it can, if we check this again at the end of the video, this will all be in a different order, and it'll show you different amounts. So it is kind of, it's kind of nice as like a rough outline to figure out like what kind of cards you'd really want to be using. I think that really sticks out weird. 2080 Ti's in here definitely sticks out really weird to me because I think this is only making like $1.30. Let's start at the top. 4090 is pretty obvious. It's probably the best card to run. Drastically overpriced right now at this point. The 5090 is going to be out in a couple of weeks, and it's going to cost basically the exact same thing you can get a 4090 for right now. So buying a 4090 is pointless. The 5090 is going to be just insane. So, I mean, unless you can get a 4090 for like $1,000, like I wouldn't even buy one. 3090s, I think they're pretty good at like $500 if you can get them at 500. I wouldn't pay more than 500 for them because they're about to be so outdated. It's not funny. I imagine in a month this number one spot's going to be the 5090 and this number two spot is going to be the 5080. And then I think we'll see, hopefully the 4090 will be the number 3 slot and the 3090 will be the number 4 slot, but we will see. I imagine the only reason this 2080 Ti is in here so high is because there aren't that many people running them. Because I can't imagine what your electric rate is where you're actually breaking even on the 2080 Ti. You might be at $1.30. But I don't know. I don't know anyone who's actually running a 2080 Ti. If you're running a 2080 Ti, are you breaking even? Leave that in the comment down below. I'm really curious to know. Just because, to my understanding, the card takes so much electricity. As you get the newer cards, every time they release a new card, it runs significantly more efficiently. So I'm pretty sure this card just eats electricity. And I don't know if it runs that efficiently. I don't know if I would really want to be running that if I had it. Maybe though, maybe if it is running low enough, it might not be that bad because you're not crypto mining on it with this. You're running Salad, so it's like you're running. The way I look at it, like you're using significantly less electricity than you would if you were gaming. If you're gaming, you're putting way more demand on the card and you're burning way more electricity. With running Salad, like sometimes it's running real hard, but most of the time it's not really running that hard. So that one's kind of curious. I wonder what that's actually like. I don't think I wouldn't go out and buy a 2080 Ti to see what it's doing. But if you do still have one sitting around, I mean, they were really good cards. So, I mean, if you do have one sitting around, I'm curious what that would be. This next one here, RTX 4080. I don't have any of these. I would have liked to have gotten one, but just kind of never really saw the point in it. That looks like, let's see if it's 83 cents. It's making just a little over, well, on the low end it's making $2. On the high end, is that making $3? Yeah, and the high end, that should be a little over $3. So, might not necessarily be terrible. But yeah, I don't have a 4080. 4070 Ti, they seem to do alright. They were pretty good at mining. So, no, that's a 40 Ti Super. Never mind. I don't have one of these. Do not have one of those. So that might still be pretty decent. It looks like it's done about the same thing as the 3090. So that's probably running more efficiently than the 3090. So it's probably less electric usage. 3070 Ti. I have two of these in here right now. They look like they're running at about 50%. And when they are running, they're making about $2. So I have one that is running and one that's not running. And 4070 Ti, these I have. I have 2 of these. They seem to be doing okay. A lot of stuff in low right now. Looking at my machines, I guess I wouldn't imagine as much as that low. But it is what it is. Still nothing at high. In the low tier cards, the 3060 12GB card is probably my favorite out of all of these. 4060 Ti right now, too, is crazy. Out of my 3, I don't think any of my 3 are running right now, which is weird because this was at one point like the best card you could run for Salad, I felt. I bought 3 of these for Salad specifically because the card was running so good on Salad there for a while. Yeah, right now, not looking so great. But we'll see. We will see. So if we get into it, I've got 30 machines here. They're all kind of in order. I got 3 4090s, 5 3090s, 2 4070 Ti's, 1 4070, 3 4060 Ti's, 4 3060s, 3 3060 Ti's, 5 3070s, 2 3070 Ti's, and 2 3080s. And then right now we're running everything on the laptop. But I don't actually run the laptop on Salad. I don't know if you can run a laptop on Salad. When I was trying to run mine, it just wasn't working that well. So let's get into it. And this still says it's trying to download a job. I was hoping that would already have been downloaded and into the job. So this is Intel Xeon 20-core processor. This is old. 128 gigabytes of memory. RTX 4090. It is currently downloading a job. I imagine it's going to download a job for was it $6.20 a day, so it should be almost 26 cents an hour. But it's still trying to download it, so we could probably look at the Ethernet here. This is something people are definitely interested in. What is my Ethernet at right now for the last 60 seconds? It looked like when we turned it on, it was way higher, and now it looks like it's not as high. This looks like it's basically doing almost nothing. It doesn't look like it's trying to download anything. I thought it was trying to download something. Yeah, it looks like it's still doing just real small amounts. So, yeah, downloading job. We'll have to wait and see. I guess we're not going to see right now what it's doing. So we go to the next one. These first 3 are basically all identical. They're all running the X99 motherboard with the Xeon 20-core processor, 128 gigabytes of memory. It's running the... Oh man, I can't even remember what it's called. The server-specific memory. So it's not running the memory you could put in a PC. It's running... ERC or something like that. Oh, I cannot even remember. On these X99 motherboards, one of the better things is you can run the cheaper server RAM. So that's why I'm running a ton of X99 boards. Just because the memory wound up being so much cheaper. But yeah, I think it's EERC. Now I'm going to feel weird about it. Let's take a look and see over here. Where is my mouse? Let's go to here and eBay. Oh, why don't you say what this is? pretty sure this is the actual stick of RAM I'm running. But it's not saying what exactly it is. But yeah, anyways, 32 gigabyte stick. Just one of them right now is like $20. If you buy like 10 of them or 20 of them, you can normally get them at a much cheaper discount. Like if you buy 100 of them, you can get them at a way cheaper discount. I haven't been able to pick up 100 of them yet, but I'm imagining that's what people who are, if you want to do this at bigger scale than me, guys are probably picking them up at like 100 a piece and 100 at a time, and I think you can get a pretty good deal on them. I was looking at them. I tried getting 100 once and just wasn't able to. I wound up putting it a little bit above what I was willing to spend at that moment in time, but which is all right. I'm not scaling up that high. I don't think I'm gonna go above 30 machines. So, but anyways, it's using the cheaper memory, which is nice. That's why I like the X99 boards, because it's stuff's cheaper. It's old now, but I'm looking to update to newer stuff when machines do fail. So, okay, so anyways, let's get to the next one. Another 4090. This one's doing 26.15 cents per hour, which is like $6 a day, probably a little over $6 a day, which should be probably like, says it's probably doing like $6.15 a day, which is kind of weird, because normally this is, no, this is doing more than that. This is doing probably like $6.25 a day. Normally this is 25.9 cents. So an extra 0.25 cents an hour. So it's making a little more than, yeah, probably about $6.25 a day. So that's pretty decent. We go to the next one. Oh, this one just tanked way out. This one was doing the same thing. It was doing that like that 621 per day. This is another 20-core Intel Xeon processor, 128 gigabytes of memory, RTX 4090. These three machines are basically all the same. It's just a different manufacturer, I think, for all three 4090s. I believe I have a different manufacturer for all three. And this one says it's doing 11.94. This may be 2, because this is a weird amount. This may have just picked this one up. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe machine 1 ended and picked up, and this is the one that had picked up. So I'm imagining this is probably actually doing $2.62, but because we're in that first 5 minutes of the job running, it's not estimating it out correctly, because it's, I don't see why I'd be getting that weird amount that doesn't match up with anything in my list. I don't imagine it's actually running at this weird amount, but because in the estimate, it's your average of what it made in the last 5 minutes. So if in the last 5 minutes, if you only ran for 3 of the last 5 minutes, 2 of those minutes are averaged out at 0, so it's messes your numbers up. So I imagine this is still doing $2.62 a day, even though it's saying that. So that could be kind of weird to look at sometimes. Just kind of getting used to looking at everything all the time, you can kind of tell sometimes. So anyways, let's go to the next one. AMD Threadripper 1950X, 16 cores, 64 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3090. This is the machine that was in my office forever. This says it's doing 0.11, it's doing 11 cents an hour, which seems like that is a weird off amount too. It should be about $2.62 or $2.65 per day. It's pretty standard for a 3090. Because it's an off amount, I don't know if it just started the job too, or if it is just running at a weird amount. Let's go to the next one here. So anyways, technically 3 of my 4090s are running We only saw one that looked like it had been on the job for a while. The other two looked like it pretty much had just started them. So it kind of makes sense with where my earnings were look like for the day. Because if I was at that full 50 cents every 15-minute block, then all three of my 4090s should be running. And if I'm, down closer to that 30 cents, then, one to none of my 3090s or 4090s are probably running. So anyways, this next one, this is basically a BC/PC.com combo kit. Xeon processor, 12 core, 64 gigabytes, which I threw a RTX 3090 in. So it's actively running a job. So this one just picked a job up. It was not in this before. So if I've started this 5 minutes to an hour later, I'd probably have a lot more actively running. One thing I will say on this, if you do see this where it says Salad is actively running a job or Salad is downloading a job and your WSL file isn't up to date, it's stuck. I have seen that several times, and it can get stuck, and it can be stuck for quite a while until you get in there and shut everything down and return it back on again. So this should be actively picking it up right now. I'm assuming it's just in the first 5 minutes. Because the WSL file is active and is current, it says 7:41 on 1/12, and it is 7:41 a.m. on 1/12. It should be fine. It's just actively picking the job up. All right. So that one is going to be doing something. I'd imagine that one will be doing, it'll be about 10 cents per hour, or almost 11 cents an hour at 262 per day. Because that's what they tend to run. So this next one here, another BC/PC.com combo kit. Intel Xeon 12 core, 64 gigabytes of RAM, RTX 4090. It's currently looking for a job, which I believe this is the number 1 card on the demand, or the number 2 card. What does it say the second? This second it says it's the number 2 demand card. So that one's currently looking. Let's go to the next one. Intel 12 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3090. It's doing the 10.95 cents per hour, which is $2.62 per day. Let's go to the next one. "12 cores, 96 gigabytes, RTX 3090. This one is actively running a job on your hardware right now, so it just picked this job up also. So, wow, this is a weird time to be running. But I guess it's good to see this in different ways, so it's not always as static. So I'm going to imagine this is also going to be doing 10.95 cents per hour, which would be about $2.62 per day. You can tell right now this is actively running. It's working because the WSL file is currently up to date. I have a video on what to do if your WSL file isn't working. It's under this PC, local C drive. Program data is hidden, so you have to manually type program data in to get here, and then Salad WSL. Looking at your program file, Salad WSL won't do you any good. So don't even bother with it, because it doesn't do you any decent anything. You really want to look at the program data, Salad WSL, because if you do need to delete it, this is the one you have to delete, is your actual data, not the program file. Deleting your program file won't do you any good at all. This is the one where if it gets stuck, you need to check it. So that's why I have the link, and it's always up. Or I have a little shortcut right here for it, so I can bring it up real quick. And it's always up. But yeah, so I got another machine that's actually picking a job up. So I believe that means 4 of my 3090s right now are running. So out of the top tier cards, I should be running 7 of the 8 should be running. Most of them are in the process of picking up a job right now, though, which is crazy to see that many actively picking up a job right now. But that's good. It's really, really good. That means, we'll see. Because it was a little low when I started to check, and it should be back up. I mean, by the time I end this video, I might be up to 50 cents per block, per 15-minute block. So That should be really nice. So let's go to the next one. We're into the rest of the 4 series here. This is Intel Xeon 12 cores, 96 gigabytes, RTX 4070 Ti. This one's currently looking for a job. WSL files up to date. So that is good. Intel Xeon 12 core, 96 gigabytes, RTX 4070 Ti. This one's also currently looking for a job. WSL files up to date. So that is good. Well, I guess not good it's not in job, but it's good that's looking. This one really blows me away. Intel Xeon 12 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 4070 is actually running a job. It feels like it has been forever. It's probably been about 2 weeks since this thing's run a job. I want to say this thing goes long periods of time without running jobs. 4070s, unfortunately, are not really good cards, I think, for Salad. I think if you were running multiple 4070s, it probably wouldn't look quite as bad. But just running the single 4070, I think this card gets super unlucky. And it just looks like it's never running anything. But right now it's doing 10.95 cents per hour, which should be $2.62 per day. Which is a pretty decent job. That's what the 3090s run for the most part. So definitely super happy about this. This is my my rig now, that if this one's running, I tend to feel pretty good, because just this thing never runs. It's nothing wrong with the rig itself. It's just the 4070 for Salad is not a good value. If you were like a customer, running the 4060 Ti makes so much more sense. The 4060 Ti is better, and you get a better value than you do on the 4070. Kind of like with the 30 series cards, like the 3060 12 gigabyte card gives you such a better value than like the 3060 Ti or the 3070 do for running AI programs. So because you get the more VRAM. So it's just a weird card, kind of caught in the middle of nowhere, but definitely pretty happy to see it running. That's pretty cool. That may save this one from getting traded in. We will see. We will see. So let's go to the next one here. Intel 12 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 4060 Ti. Currently looking for a job. Intel 12 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 4060 Ti. Currently looking for a job. I think all 3 of these are different companies too. So this is Intel 12 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 4060 Ti. Is currently doing 10 cents. Boo. Well, it's like 0.44 cents per hour, which winds up being 10 cents per day. These are just like transcription jobs. So someone dumped some audio in, and it's just putting in the subtitles in the bottom, I think, for them. Or something like that. They put an audio file in, and it's just transcribing it for them. They're not necessarily like the best jobs in the world, but it does, once you complete the job, because normally they only run for like, 5 minutes to like an hour. So once it finishes this, it does boost your reliability score behind the screen, which then puts you a little bit further ahead in the queue. So it's not the worst thing to run them. Like, it's not an end of the world kind of thing, because you do need a high reliability score to make it easier for you to get jobs. So the more jobs you finish and the longer uptime you have, the better it helps all that. So I don't feel like I've described that in a long time. Probably should describe that in the beginning of the next video. Alright, so Chrome Remote Desktop will only let me have... You can only have up to 20 open at a time. So let's see if it'll let me open all these. Well, let's just do this first set. We'll do the 3060s and the 3060 Ti's, and then I will open the rest. So we are on a Intel 12-core Xeon processor, 64 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3060. This one's going 5.5 cents, so that should be about $1.30. On the 3060s, I do like having the 64 gigabytes of RAM, because you do have the chance, I think you have a pretty decent chance, because you have the good value on the 3060 12 gigabyte cards, at getting jobs where the customer will pay for a little bit more because they get the better value. So with the 64 gigabytes of RAM, sometimes you can make more than the $1.30. So I do like it with them to be running a little bit more. The rest of the 30 series cards, like the 3090 and the 3060 12 gigabyte, I want at 64. The rest of them I think are just fine at 32 gigabytes of memory. This next one, i7, 8 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3060. This one says it's storing 6.35 cents, which should put it about $1.50. So that's pretty cool. I'm wondering if the customer's paying for more CPU cores and maybe a little bit more memory. It's not a whole lot more than normal, but it is a little bit more than normal, and I will take that. I definitely like getting paid more. Getting paid more is betterer. So yeah, as I said, I like putting a little bit more memory in on the 3060s because I think they make more. I think it's a good allocation. So right here, I don't know if I'm getting paid more for the CPU or for the RAM. You don't get paid. There aren't a whole lot of people paying for more CPU cores, but some people do. The vast majority of jobs on sale are still only paying for like 1 to 2 cores, 1 to 2. So, like your CPU doesn't really matter that much at all as far as getting the normal workloads. If you're doing like the crypto mining, it'll matter because you're crypto mining, but I'm not a big fan of the way they have the crypto mining set up on here. I think the CPU mining, you're already on a small margin, and when they take their cut and whoever they're going through takes their cut, I think you're just nowhere near profitable. Unless you're running something like ridiculously amazing, which you would be far better off probably just not running it through Salad anyways and just setting it up yourself. So I mean, it's there as an option, which I don't think is bad, but because like if you have solar or something, I mean, I think it winds up being a lot better where you're not paying for the electric, but I don't see many options other than solar. Or if you're doing like if you live up north where you're just running this to offset your heat, where you're not really even worried about this as a profitability thing, you're just doing this to heat your house because it makes more sense to run a crypto miner than to run like a space heater. I guess that would make sense. Alright, so let's go to the next one. AMD Ryzen 7, 8 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3060. I was supposed to bring this up first. Alright, so this one's currently doing 5.5 cents. That's $1.30. It is integrated. I believe this is unable to access the internet. If I hit the retry button on it right now, it'll kick it out of the job. So I don't want to hit the retry button to kick it out of the job. It's not really degraded. It didn't really run out of internet. I think it's one of those just where I have fiber 5 gig over 5 gig. I think it's just one of those where I'm not always actually at 5 gig over 5 gig. Every once in a great while, the service provider will dip it down, and I'll probably only have like 1 gig over 1 gig. And I think during that second where I only had the 1 gig over 1 gig, it didn't quite have enough. So I think I had like 2 machines that said I didn't actually have internet when I had plenty of internet. But it has to pop up when it has that error. So even what you're paying for, like you're not always 100% there, but it's like here in the US, like 99.8% of the time, you're at that full 5 gig over 5 gig. But every once in a while, it can dip down, and when it dips down, sometimes you get that error. But I can't really do anything about that error right now. I just can close it out, and I won't be able to tell it to retry until after it's out of a job. Because if I hit the retry button now, it's going to kick it out of the job, and I don't want to give up work that I could be making. Because that $1.30 is still pretty good. I like that $1.30 for the 3060 card. It's a pretty decent little profit margin there. So let's go to the next one. i5, 6 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3060. This one says it's currently looking for a job. Boo. This next one, why is this on this? So this is Intel i7, 8 cores, 32 gigabytes of memory, RTX 3060 Ti. This one must have said it was actively picking up a job, and maybe I wanted to take a look at it. I don't remember. Anyway, it says it's doing 5.5 cents per hour, which is $1.30 per day. I don't remember why I had it on the internet. That is baffling me. Some of them I know I left them specifically on certain screens because I had done certain actions and I wanted to discuss what it had done. Maybe this one also said it was out of internet, but I was able to just click the retry button because it wasn't active in the job. And then it said I was going to just try to pick a new job up. Some of the error screens, you don't necessarily really have to hit retry. Hitting retry just takes it away. It doesn't necessarily do anything specifically. Like even when I get like the degraded GPU error, which we will see on one, which I already had to reset. But if you get the degraded GPU error, even if you hit the retry, I guess the retry will let you know, do you really have a problem? Or did it just, crash because it's being dumb? A lot of times you get the degraded GPU error, all you really need to do is just update the driver. So we get into that machine, I'll do that. But I don't think this one I didn't update the driver on. I don't know why it was on Ethernet. It must have said it was actively picking a job up, and I wanted to take a look and see. So let's go to the next one. Intel i5, 6 cores, 32 gigabytes, RTX 3060 Ti. This one's currently doing 0.44 cents per hour, which is 10 cents per day. It's a transcription job. We already covered that. This one did freeze on me like 2 days ago. I just had to turn it off and turn it back on again. It does happen sometimes. Alright, so I got a bunch of stuff to cover on this one. AMD Ryzen 5 3600, 6 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3060 Ti. This one looks like I was getting the degraded GPU error on this one because that's why I was on GPU. So all I did is update the driver. A little annoying right now because the current driver, 636, it's over a month old. It was done on December 10th. So kind of annoying to be downloading a driver that's over a month old, knowing that if I get a degraded error tomorrow, there's probably going to be another new driver. So if somebody's trying to run on the newest driver, that will hopefully come out like tomorrow, because normally they do like 2 a month. So, yeah, when the new driver comes out, it may very well need to get updated again, but all you got to do then, yeah, get the degraded GPU error up here. Just download the new one, and it is currently downloading a new job. And do we see anything in here? And I don't even know which one of these we need to look at to see the actual internet usage. How much is it actually using? It's bouncing back and forth around. So it looks like it's actually taking like 200 to 300 megabytes, or it was while I was trying to download the job. And then once I look at it, it looks like it's not really taking anything. I thought we'd see more in this. I know people like want this information from me on like the networking stuff, but I'm not a networking guy, so I don't fully know that much. This doesn't look like it's using much of anything still, even while it's trying to download the job, which is the big part in the process. It's downloading the job right now, and it's still not taking up that much internet. So yeah, I haven't personally seen the big spikes. I know, like I was watching somebody else's. Oh, I cannot think of what his name is now. And he was showing his, and his were all taking like 100 megabytes to download, and it was like, or 1,000 megabytes to download, and I was like, wow. But I haven't physically seen it. I've been trying to look and pay attention and just not seeing the real big spikes where it's using a ton. I've seen it use some, but it's still just like, it's not using any. There we go. 400, 1.9. Oh no, that was still... That didn't spike up that much, so... Yeah, it's still just barely using anything. And it's in the big download part right now. So, I don't know. Alright, let's get on to the rest of them. So we got the 3070s, 53070s, two 3070 Ti's... and two 3080s. So Intel 12 cores, 32 gigabytes, RTX 3070. I believe this is the only one I have of the Xeon motherboard that's only running 32 megabytes of memory because it's on an RTX 3070. I can't justify putting 64 gigabytes of memory on this thing. But I do think some of my 3070s might still have 64 just to see if it would do anything. Because I did have it for a while there while I was trying to update my RAM for everything. I was just going on Facebook Marketplace and buying whatever I could find cheap. And then coming home and whatever machine was idle, that's the machine that got upgraded. So, a lot of it though was like trial and error, see what worked and what didn't work. So that's why some of these are mixed-matched, kind of weird. So this next one, Intel i7, 8 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3070. So this one has the 64 gigabytes just because this one was idle at the moment in time. But I think with these 8 cores for a while, before I got all the BC/PC ones, these 8 core machines were the best machines that I had. So I had the better cards in these. So this next one here, let's see, it is doing 5.5 cents per hour, which should be about $1.30 per day. So that's pretty good. Standard low priority job. AMD Ryzen 7 3700X, 8 cores, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3070, doing 5.5 cents per day, so that's $1.30. Next one. What? Don't I have all those turned off? Why are you... Why are you trying to do... Alright, let's take a look at this really quickly here. Let's make sure that is turned off in here. I thought for sure I had turned all of those off. What screen is that in here? That is in here. Alright, so we are going to search for Windows Administrative Tools. System configuration. Services, I believe it's like 90% of the way down. Windows updates is off. Has this thing not been reset? Windows updates are off. You active in a job? Shouldn't be giving me a Windows update. I don't know why it is. It says it's been reset. I don't know why that didn't take effect. I should not be doing Windows updates on this thing. I don't know. Yeah, it should not have that on there. That shouldn't be going on. This machine's probably going to wind up shutting itself down like a jerk. Let's... Update and reset is at X4. I can try to remember that. I just won't shut the rest of these down. I'm going to try to make sure that is for sure done. I don't know if maybe that got messed up because I didn't reset it when I turned it off. So we'll try to update it, reset it, go back through the process again to turn the Windows Update off, reset it again just to make sure it takes effect. And it shouldn't be doing Windows updates. So this next one, I had the degraded GPU error on this one. So you can see I updated to the newest one, 636. This is a Intel i3 4-core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3070. And I believe it's currently looking for a job. Yeah, because I just reset it 52 minutes ago. Yeah, it had the degraded GPU error in it. So I reset it and started it up again. I'm running on Windows 10. I don't know if I said that before. But, yeah. So, it's currently looking for a job. Let's go to the next one. AMD Ryzen 9 5900X 12 core 64 gigabytes RTX 3070 Ti. This one's currently looking for a job. When it does find a job, it's throwing like $2. It's been running. I think they've been running about 50% of the time. This other one should be running. So this is AMD Ryzen 5 3600 6 core 64 gigabytes RTX 3070 Ti. Is doing 8.42 cents per hour, which is about $2 a day. Oh shoot, I forgot already which one this was. X4? We'll see. I may have to guess a couple times to remember which one it was. So let's go to this next one. Intel Xeon 12 core, 64 gigabytes, RTX 3080. It's like 5.5 cents per day, so that's $1.30. And Intel i3 4 cores, 32 gigabytes, RTX 3080. This one is doing also 5.5 cents per day, so that's doing $1.30. So that's pretty decent. 3080s are still chucking along pretty good. Alright, that thing is trying to update, so that may take a second. So if we can already see where I was getting ready to film, I was at 30 cents. And then it jumped up to 37.5 cents. And then it lulled down a little bit. And right now it's up to 40 cents. So that makes sense that it's at about 40 cents if all of those ones that were looking for jobs did pick up good jobs. Let's see, what was this? I believe it's this one. Because it's trying to do the updates, this may take a second longer. It hasn't even shut down yet. We'll try to end with this. I don't know if I have any real big thoughts. I did like my last video I did on the crypto mining versus AI rental. I thought that video was pretty good and pretty heartfelt. Anything in there in the comments? A lot of people just kind of agreeing with me. Definitely, I think the idea of kind of like mining a bunch of different stuff and a piece of paper over here, so I'm not going to write down which machine this is. X4. Mining a bunch of different random stuff to have a bunch of different random stuff is definitely a pretty decent idea. Just, you know, because with the crypto mining, a lot of it, like, you don't need everything to 100x, but if you mine 5 coins and one of them 10x's, you're basically up on everything. So, kind of a different way to look at it. Like, I think it's good. I think a lot of the stuff we've seen is just kind of, I don't know if it's really coming back too much. There was one comment in here I think that probably does deserve a little bit more. Guy thinks I had a bunch of different stuff wrong. How in the world did I mine $1,000 worth of flux and it's only worth $50? I spent $1,000 on electric, and the price of flux has fallen that far from when I mined it, where I think I mined flux for like 6 to 9 months, something like that, and it's just not worth anything anymore. All right, that was Windows Administrative Tool. So normally to get to something like this, you just keep typing it out until it pops up in here. And then I believe it was System Configuration, Services. I'll get back to that guy's comment. Windows Update. Why are you running? No, don't be running. I don't know if, yeah, maybe because I didn't reset it right away. That was my problem. So we'll reset it now. See how I get going. But yeah, so that's how I spent $1,000 on flux, and it's only worth $50 now. I might have sold some of that flux too to make up for electric, but like I mined it for quite a while, and I spent a lot of money mining it, and I don't have any. No, I don't think I had sold any of it though. But yeah, it's just the price on it did not go well. And then Sally says, I didn't mention my electric cost. Yeah, I did specifically mention my electric cost. That's why I think in the video, the average, I don't remember where I say it in the video. Oh, it's paused. That's why when I'm discussing the price for my average, it was like... So if we take my 30 days, would be 1142 divided by 30. Right now I'm averaging $38 a day, but I would subtract $10 from my electric cost, so I'm actually making about $28 a day instead of the $38 a day. I discussed that. Maybe I went through it really fast and he just kind of missed that part. But yeah, I'm only spending about $10 a day in electric on my 10 machines, or my 30 machines. So right now it might be a little bit more. With me averaging, it'd be interesting to see what my next electric bill looks like. Because if I'm actually averaging $38 a day, I might be up towards almost $11 a day in electric. But I don't know if I will honestly even notice an extra $30 on my electric bill. So, but yeah, that was kind of that. So I went in and discussed those. Let's see, is it X4? So hopefully this thing should not have another Windows update thing pop up. I don't know why that popped up. It must have been, I must have messed that up from not actually resetting the machine when I went through and did it. Because if it was active in a job, I wasn't going to reset it for no reason. I assumed the next time it reset, it would just naturally turn it off. But Revo doesn't need to be open unless I'm actually doing something on it. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I did like that last video I did though, where I compared crypto mining with the AI rental. I think AI rental is definitely a lot more of the future. So, oh wow, this video's like 54 minutes. Jeez. This is supposed to be like a 20-minute video. I didn't think I was going to discuss anything. I don't even know what I discussed in this video. I don't know how it got to 54 minutes. But yeah, that's what everything made. That's how pretty much all this works. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments down below. Pretty good about getting back to the comments. For Like the video, like button, subscribe, come on back. I will definitely make more content. I think I've got about a week left before I go on vacation. But I don't actually leave when I go on vacation. So maybe we've still got about 2 weeks left before I actually like leave. I'm going to try and do my best to have some content filmed and made. I might still... I might be able to do some kind of like a mobile update with my phone, but we'll see. Content might get spotty there for a little bit, but I don't think it'll be too bad. I think I can work it all out. So, that's pretty much it. So, like the video, like button, subscribe, come on back. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.